the history of EIA procedure. And later on we'll see the steps of EIA in India. So environmental impact assessment is a recent addition to India's development project, and this has been studied by two people, namely K. Vijaykumar and PKJ Mahapatra, with the help of World Bank in 1991. Okay, they have made some conclusions, and that's what we are going to learn. Okay, EIA procedures and methods have been urgently in need because of three reasons. First was to alleviate the poverty or eradication of poverty and to improve the quality of life of every Indians. Second thing is, due to environmentally disastrous projects since 1947, the people were aware about the importance of environment, even though we do a lot of developmental projects. So that was the second thing that made the government to think about EIA procedures. And the third thing is the rising food and energy needs in India. Okay, these are the three driving forces that made Indian politicians and the bureaucracies to think about EIA. And because of that, in Indian Parliament in 1986, they adopted a EIA procedure which was then called as Environmental Appraisal or EA. And the procedure requires a submission of a report to about environmental impact to this EA. And this was done with the help of a council which was formed in the year 1988 called Technology Information Forecasting Assessment Council. So moving on, and finally EIA about Indian procedure for EIA was formulated with the help of Indian officials with the backing of World Bank, and finally they concluded that for thermal power generation and mining in India, we had very good guidelines for how to implement the project and all those things. But in the sector, some of the other sectors like irrigation requires some help in this regard. Okay, this is a brief history about EIA in India. So now the same thing I would like to give you in a broader perspective by dividing this history into three parts. Prior to 1972, 1972 to 1980, 1980 to the present. Okay, first of all we'll see prior to 1972. After independence in 1947, in order to increase the development of our nation, India, our politicians and the people who are in power tried to implement lot of projects, developmental projects, to alleviate poverty and to enhance our quality of life. But they did not give full consideration to the degradation of the environment. So they just calculated the economic cost or the face value of the affected resources. For example, forest timber in the case of a dam project. How many amount of forest cover is lost and how much timber is lost according to the cost which they had in back then in before 1972. The disadvantage was they never calculated the long-term and cumulative cost due to that project. Coming to 1972 to 1980, India government took some actions. Okay, some actions because of one conference that was held in Stockholm conference in 1972. A national committee on environment planning and coordination was formed. And because of that, they tried to implement a project called Silent Valley project in Kerala during those times, based on the Stockholm conference of 1972. But they had to abandon that project. The Silent Valley project, it is a very important project as far as Kerala is concerned. A person called Modgal has conducted some study about the environmental feasibility of that project, and later he came to a conclusion that this particular project has to be investigated by a special task force, And after the special task force conducted this investigation, final decision was taken that this particular project, the Silent Valley project, is not feasible for environment. So that was, I think, in India, that was the first major project which was held or which was stopped because of the interference of environmental issues in India. Okay. The basic one of the main reasons is the some of the habitat of certain species like lion-tailed macaques. Their actually their dwelling place is in Silent Valley project. If this project comes, they will diminish or they will disappear from the face of the earth. That lion-tailed macaques. So that was one of the reasons for scrapping this project. Okay, now it has been that particular area where the Silent Valley project was proposed is turned into a national park, so that it will be protected in the future from any kind of project that may come in the future also. Coming to 1980 to the present, if you see, Department of Environment, called DOE in other words, was established in 1980. So that is you can call it as a permanent department itself. Previously it was just a council, okay, just a council. But now in 1980, government has taken it seriously. So a Department of Environment was established, which is a major step. And after that, the Parliament has passed certain acts. So while writing the answers in the examination, please try to quote this, like Forest Act in 1980, Environmental Protection Act in 1986, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Amendment Acts in 1981 and 1987. So after 1980 only, this particular environmental impact assessment has gained a lot of steam, and it started to move forward. People started to recognize the importance of environment. Okay, a lot of acts were passed, a department was formed, which was a very good step. And after that, an impact under the DOE, that is Department of Environment, an Impact Assessment Division, IAD, was formed. And they are the ones who are responsible for preparation of environmental impact assessment procedures and its implementation. Okay, it consists of a multidisciplinary staff which consists of interministerial appraisal committee members and also people from civil, mining, engineering, landscape, human settlement planning, instrumentation, pollution control, ecology, forestry, environmental science. So it's a very broad multidisciplinary staff are available in this IAD, which will be overseeing all aspects of this project. Okay. Now another important step is the methods which we have discussed before, the EIA methods, namely screening, scoping, progress reports, interim and final EIA report preparation, review of the final EIA report and decision making are the main steps of India's EIA procedure till date. Okay, from 1980 onwards. I have given it in this slide. So I have prepared this slide myself for giving you an awareness about this is the EIA appraisal procedure in India. Okay, and this is what I have told you or mentioned to you in 5th module towards the end. So this is almost comparable. Okay, there may be some few differences. You can see that this particular steps are the major steps. Okay, but by including these things, India has prepared a EIA procedure. We can see it in detail. Okay, just give you an awareness. Okay. First, a project proposal is prepared by a project committee or a project, the person who is he is a person. So project proposal is made, for example, if it is a mining project or a dam construction, it will be prepared and then it will be sent for screening. Okay, so screening is a phase where, as I have said before, this is a place where most of the some people who are good in planning will be assessing this project in detail, and they will take a decision whether this project has to move forward. Okay, and if they does not like the project, or if there is any problem in the project which can cause huge environmental impact a problem, then they will ask the person who prepared the project proposal to reconsider this project and try to make some changes. And again, if that is case, then they have to change, and then again come back to screening procedure. And if EIA is not required, detailed EIA is not required, straight away that will be taken to the last step towards the end for decision, and they may cancel the project, or if they will give clearance to the project and the project will be implemented. But if EIA is required, then it has to follow the steps below. Like before the screening process also receives expert opinion, and then a comprehensive EIA is needed, and for that we go for scoping. That is the next important step. So here, according to DOE guidelines, scoping has to be done. That is done by with the help of the people who are experts in the field of, as I said before, multidisciplinary staff will be present, and they will be analyzing it very carefully. Okay, and based on that, an interim report will be made, and then a final EIA report will be made. Okay, and then that will be reviewed by a committee, and a decision will be taken whether to move forward or not. If they want to cancel, they can cancel. Okay, once if cancellation occurs, then it has to move to the first step, and again this procedure has to be followed. Okay, and if the project got clearance, ultimately the project